you've had no experience with Python and limited experience with programming languages, these are intended to be kind of a more systematic introduction to Python. There will be these exercises, and I'll talk about the first one at the end of today, so you'll be ready for it. They'll be kind of self-grading exercises, so as you go through, there'll be code that checks to see whether or not you got it right, so you can kind of close the feedback loop very quickly and get a sense for, okay, did I get this right, did I not, and start the game understanding through that. As far as grading goes, and this is all in the syllabus, 40% of the class will be in-class participation. It's a relatively small class. I think that we'll have plenty of time for everybody to contribute. I hope and expect everybody to contribute to the class discussion. The exercises will consist of 20% of your grade. The way I do it is that there will be the lowest grade out of the 5 exercises will be dropped. So if you miss an exercise altogether, then it doesn't necessarily hurt your grade. There will be optional data camp assignments, so in the syllabus, and the syllabus is also on Colab, so you can click the link instead of trying to type it in. There is a link to get a 6 months free subscription to Data Camp as part of this class organization. That Data Camp organization has 4 course assignments in it, and this is all listed in the syllabus as well. So if you do any of those Data Camp assignments, you will get up to 2.5 points. So each exercise is worth 5 points out of the 20 points possible. So basically, if you did all 4 Data Camp assignments, that would give you 10 extra points, potentially replacing 2 entire exercises. The total number of points for the exercise is capped at 20. So like if you got all the exercises right and you did the Data Camp assignments, you wouldn't get extra credit. You would it's a way to make up. If you are struggling with the exercises or struggling with Python, this is an alternative resource that's a little more systematic. That's intended to be more of a traditional kind of introduction to a programming language approach. And then the final 40% of the grade will be a group project where groups will, so the group project is going to be on a particular data set that we have. You're going to be pitching your services as data science consultants to somebody in the fintech space using this large mortgage data set from Fannie Mae. As the final session of the class is going to be you guys presenting to the rest of the class. The groups will also evaluate each member's contribution on the final project, but that will be intended to be viewed as a holistic contribution. So not just did you write a lot of code, but also did you contribute in all the other ways to a successful data science project. So we're going to be using an introduction to statistical learning. This textbook is not a perfect textbook, but it has one very nice feature. It's free online. You can go, there's a link in the syllabus, you can go and click on it. It's a link provided by the author, so perfectly legally free. And since we're not focusing primarily on the textbook as the primary way we deliver content, there are some things I don't like about it. One of them is that it's in the programming language that it targets is R, but that won't be a big deal for us. And we'll have select readings as we go throughout the class. Let's see here. There's some online videos as well in some of the assignments, and then there will be this free 6-month Data Camp subscription as an optional resource to help shore up any details that you feel personally like you'd like more experience in. Any questions before we move on from here? Okay. I think I've already touched on that. This is the course schedule. So basically, the way you can kind of think about how this is structured is this first day is more kind of an intro to the process, intro to visualization, get you guys comfortable working on AWS with Jupyter Hub. When we come back in January, we're going to be primarily focused on this first weekend on predicting with structured data. So data that fits into a spreadsheet. We're, things that I think we're probably all relatively familiar with. And I mean by spreadsheet, I mean very like Excel might crash when you try to open some of these data sets. They are much too large for Excel sometimes, but you could imagine that they would work in a spreadsheet. So we're going to be looking at kind of fundamental statistical techniques and machine learning techniques. And then in the second weekend, so basically by the end of this weekend, you're going to be set to work on your final project. The goal is that after this weekend in January, you have what you need to do your final project, so that you can go ahead and be working on that in the time in between. The material that we're covering in the second weekend is more about what I'll loosely refer to as unstructured data. There's something of a gray area with some of these cases, but generally things that don't fit into traditional spreadsheets at all, or they are not necessarily what we think of when we think of traditional like spreadsheet data. Some of this will be actual images and text. Some of it will be some data that's just weird and like technically it fits in a spreadsheet, but doesn't really make sense according to our traditional definitions of that. And then our final session will be the presentations. All right, any questions before we move on? Yes, Ryan.
So I saw the schedule. So I thought that lunch was supposed to start at like 11:30 today, but I'm presuming that.
So the Valerie and I sent her an email letting her know this. The schedule was wrong that Valerie sent out.
Okay.
So she's I think let Darden know, so we're not going to miss lunch, but we'll go until 12:15 today and have lunch from 12:15 to 1:15.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry for that miscommunication. All right, any other questions? Oh, yes, Rosalind. Is it Rosalind? Rosalind.
Will a rubric be released for the final project?
It will, yep. Before you guys, at that second weekend, we'll have a rubric. Or the first weekend, we'll have a rubric. I guess this is the first weekend. Any other questions? Okay. Well, those are the last PowerPoint slides you'll see from me. And so I hope you guys enjoyed them. This is, because it's early and you guys have just gotten through a set of PowerPoint slides, before we jump into the case, I've got a little video here.
I got a pit. I don't think so. We're busy now.
You're what?
Yeah. Eating ice cream.
Ice cream?
Now you're welcome to come on and get one, but I don't believe NASCAR would think much of trying to eat an ice cream cone out there. You have enough trouble riding around the track as it is.
We messed up big time on Sunday. I had sponsors in the stands, and I'm hugging and holding hands and kissing them in the ear and praying for a good showing. And what do? We end up looking like a monkey fucking a football out there. Everybody out, please. Except you two. I've got a question. What is the one thing you absolutely need to do to win a race?
That's pretty damn obvious.
You keep quiet. You need to finish the race.
Tim, I realize Harry's been around a long time. I'm not saying that his ways are antiquated, but it helped to have a car that handled properly and didn't blow engines.
Well, if he wouldn't get excited and over-rev, the son of a bitch, the engine wouldn't blow. Now, Cole, when you shift the gear and that little needle on the tack goes into the red and reads 9,000 RPM. That's bad.
It's also my fault if the tires blow. Yes, this old fart.
Well, hell yes, it's your fault. There's 40 other vultures out there who managed to finish the race on their tires. You see Darren Waltrip using up his tires?
There's nothing I can't do with the race car.
Well, that's the difference between you and me. There's only so much I can do.
That's obvious.
Harry, he doesn't need to appreciate your job, do you?
Well, he sure as hell does. How can he expect to race if he don't know what a race car can and can't do?
What is this shit, huh? You want me to work the pit and you drive?
Fine.
We'll try that.
I can't talk to this son of a bitch. I can't talk to that son of a bitch.
Think you can drive?
Oh, he can drive. He can drive beyond the limits of the tires, the engine, the car, anything else. If the son of a bitch listened to me, we wouldn't hardly ever lose a race.
They don't give us a sponsor the next couple of races. My ass is fried. I'm liable to be out of the car business altogether. And Harry, I know you're great. You know you're great. But if the guy in the car doesn't trust you, we're never going to win a damn race.
You ever wondered what actors and actresses...
Autoplay.
Targeted advertising.
That's the Classrooms browser, just to let you know. Nothing to do with me. Not logged into that. So I don't know what Classrooms